What happens when the river of life begins to slow, and you're no longer steering through the rapids, but gliding towards still waters? What if everything you've depended on, family, friendships, career success, suddenly feels less certain, even less present? And most importantly, what quiet wisdom awaits us when the world outside fades and we're left with the one place we've rarely explored, our inner world? Life, like a vast flowing river, moves us through ever-changing stages, each one demanding our strength, our endurance, and our ability to adapt. We navigate storms, cross milestones, and push forward with purpose. But as this river approaches the peaceful stillness of its delta, something begins to shift. This is what many call the golden age, the stage of turning 60 and beyond. At this point, the whirlwind of responsibilities and ambitions begins to fade. The days seem quieter, the schedule less crowded, and the mind, perhaps for the first time in decades, starts searching, not for more to do, but for more to understand. It seeks clarity, peace, meaning. And it is here, in this reflective phase of life, that a sobering truth often dawns. The sources of support we once relied on, be it our family, close friends, or professional recognition, may no longer be as dependable as they once seemed. Some ties loosen, some roles shift, and even worldly accomplishments begin to lose their shine. Yet within this uncertainty lies a deep and timeless invitation, an invitation echoed in the teachings of Zen and Buddhism. Do not seek the flame of comfort from others. Light the lantern within yourself. This beautiful Zen saying reminds us that our truest strength doesn't come from outside validation, but from the inner stability we intentionally build. This is where the journey turns inward. It is here that we begin constructing what Zen calls the 5 pillars, 5 essential foundations that offer unwavering support through the twilight years. These pillars are not external. They are grown from self-awareness, daily practice, and a deep commitment to living mindfully. So, what are these pillars? What makes them powerful, lasting, and deeply personal? Let us begin with the first pillar, inner peace. As we age, the external world becomes less predictable. Children grow up and become occupied with their own lives. Relationships evolve, and the noise of the outer world slowly fades. In this quieter space, inner peace becomes not just desirable, but necessary. Buddhism teaches, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. And so, the practice of building inner peace begins with mastering your mind. This doesn't mean controlling your thoughts, but learning to observe them, like clouds drifting across the sky, without clinging, without judgment. Imagine someone who has spent their entire life chasing achievements. In their later years, despite all their success, they find themselves restless. Why? Because they never built a sanctuary within. Their happiness was tethered to external outcomes that by nature are temporary. Only when they turned inward, embracing silence, practicing mindfulness, learning to let go, did they begin to experience a peace that couldn't be shaken by life's ups and downs. To build this pillar, begin by sitting in stillness each day. Observe your breath. Let thoughts rise and pass. Embrace impermanence. Let go of attachment to results. Choose gratitude. Focus on what is, not what was. Inner peace does not mean avoiding the storm. It means learning to stay calm and steady in the heart of it. After realizing the importance of cultivating inner peace, it becomes clear that the body must also be honored. Peace within the mind is deeply connected to the strength, balance, and well-being of the body that carries it. This brings us to the second pillar, health and vitality. Many people, when reflecting back on their younger years, see a pattern, how they place their career, ambitions, or responsibilities above their own health. Some ignored physical pain, others dismissed signs of exhaustion, all in the name of getting things done. Or they indulged excessively, seeking comfort in food, habits, or patterns that slowly wore down their physical strength. But aging gives us something youth does not: perspective. At 60, we begin to see that vitality is not something that simply fades away. It is something we can protect and even restore through conscious, consistent care. It's not too late. In fact, this phase of life may be the very best time to begin. Imagine someone who, after years of living on convenience foods, little movement, and irregular sleep, starts to make small, thoughtful changes. They don't join a gym or follow a strict diet. Instead, they begin each morning with a 15-minute walk in the park. They take time to prepare light, nourishing meals using fresh ingredients. They drink warm water in the morning, rest at regular times, and stretch gently before bed. Within just a few months, everything changes. Their energy returns, their joints ache less, their sleep deepens, their face softens. More importantly, they feel alive again, no longer drained by years of neglect, but renewed by simple acts of self-care. To build this pillar, you don't need expensive programs or extreme routines. You simply need to return to the basics. Move daily. Even gentle activity, walking, yoga, or stretching, keeps your joints supple, your muscles awake, and your breath steady. Physical movement clears stagnant energy and connects you to your body in a mindful way. Eat with intention. Choose foods that are warm, clean, and easy to digest. Favor natural, unprocessed meals over quick fixes. Eat slowly. Chew well. Listen to what your body needs. Rest with purpose. Sleep is healing, not just rest. Go to bed early. Create a routine that tells your body it is safe to relax. A well-rested body leads to a clear, calm mind. Health at this stage is not about trying to look younger. It's about feeling present and capable in your own body. It's about aligning your physical state with the stillness of your mind so that both work together in harmony. And when your body feels strong and steady, it becomes easier to face life's challenges with grace. One of those challenges, often hidden in silence, is the fear of losing control over our finances. That leads us naturally to the third pillar, financial independence, an anchor of stability and dignity in your golden years. When the body is cared for and the mind is calm, we begin to seek stability in another essential aspect of life, our independence. Not just physical or emotional, but also financial independence, which becomes increasingly important as we age. In the eyes of Zen, money is not taboo. It is simply a tool, a resource that, when used wisely, supports a balanced and dignified life. Financial security doesn't mean wealth or luxury. It means having the freedom to live with peace of mind without depending too heavily on others for your basic needs. A Zen proverb says, "A wise person prepares their resources as the river readies its banks." It reminds us that just as rivers carve safe paths through the land, we too must shape our financial habits early so they can support us when the currents of life slow down. Imagine someone who, even with modest income, saved consistently and spent with care. By the time they reached their 60s, they felt prepared, not rich, but free. They could focus on self-discovery, spiritual growth, or joyful hobbies without being burdened by financial anxiety. Now compare that to someone who lived beyond their means, relying on appearances or short-term pleasures. As they aged, they found themselves stressed, dependent, and trapped, because financial instability had become a constant source of worry. To build this pillar, live within your means. Simplify your lifestyle so it aligns with your true needs. Set aside even small savings for emergencies. Prioritize experiences over material things. Invest in what brings peace, not just status. Financial independence is not about building walls of money. It's about creating freedom. Freedom to choose, to rest, to give, and to grow without fear. With that foundation in place, we now turn inward once again, to the heart. The fourth pillar is about what sustains us emotionally: meaningful relationships. As the years pass, we begin to recognize the difference between connections that sustain us and those that subtly drain our energy. Sometimes, without even noticing, we hold on to relationships that bring more stress than peace, out of habit, guilt, or fear of being alone. But at 60, there is wisdom in letting go. We are no longer here to entertain chaos or emotional debt. Let go of toxic ties. Release any relationship that compromises your well-being, that demands more than it gives, or makes you shrink rather than grow. Why continue to carry what only weighs you down? In contrast, relationships grounded in kindness, mutual respect, and sincerity become like warm blankets during winter nights. They bring comfort during the quietest, loneliest moments. Even a small circle of such connections is far more precious than a wide network of superficial ties. To nurture this pillar, choose authenticity over obligation. Spend time with people who listen without judgment and care without conditions. Give love, but also receive it with grace. Practice empathy, communicate honestly, celebrate others' joy as you would your own. When you align your relationships with your values, they no longer feel like emotional labor. They become shared journeys of growth. Lastly, we arrive at the fifth pillar, lifelong learning and purpose. This pillar breathes new energy into your later years. Zen wisdom teaches us that life is not a destination. It is an ongoing journey of evolution. As a Buddhist sutra reminds us, when the mind stops seeking, the spirit begins to wither. Even at 60 or beyond, life offers infinite doors waiting to be opened. You can learn something new, rekindle a forgotten passion, or engage in service that brings light to others. Purpose is not found in grand achievements. It often lives in small, meaningful acts. Think of someone who chose not to retreat into the silence of retirement, but instead rediscovered their joy in painting. They spent their days creating art, bright, expressive pieces that brought delight to those around them and a deep fulfillment to themselves. Or picture another person who volunteered at a local school, helping children read or write. They weren't just giving time, they were rediscovering purpose, one smile at a time. To build this pillar, stay curious, read books, watch documentaries, try new skills. Share what you know, mentor someone younger, or speak from your experience. Explore hobbies, even simple ones. What makes your spirit feel light again? Purpose is what brings meaning to the quiet hours and gives direction even when no one is watching. It is the spark that keeps the soul from fading. As we've seen, purpose breathes energy into our later years. But without a strong body and a calm mind to carry that purpose, even the most meaningful goals can feel out of reach. That's why balance between physical health and mental serenity is not a luxury in your 60s, it's a necessity. A healthy body supports a tranquil mind, and in return, a peaceful mind nurtures the body. When either is neglected, the other struggles. Especially as we grow older, even a small ache or worry can feel magnified if the mind is restless or unsettled. So, how do we honor this delicate balance in daily life? Begin with gentle physical movement. Practices like Tai Chi, slow walking in nature, or mindful stretching are not just exercises. They are meditations in motion. They help align your breath, body, and attention, bringing calm to the mind and stability to the body. These movements also improve balance and mobility, important tools for reducing falls and injuries as we age. Next, listen deeply to your body. Don't ignore signs like fatigue, tension, or discomfort. These are messages, not problems. They are your body's way of asking for compassion and care. Hydrate often. Nourish gently. Choose foods that are simple, whole, and comforting. Steamed vegetables, fresh fruits, warm broths. These energize rather than exhaust. Avoid heavy, processed meals that taxed your digestion. And remember, your body is the only true home you have in this life. Treat it not with fear, but with reverence, as a companion, not a burden. We now return to a pillar that affects nearly every area of life: financial independence, or, as some Buddhists might say, freedom from needless worry. Its importance cannot be overstated. Financial independence is not about chasing riches. It is about maintaining peace of mind. It's about meeting your basic needs: food, shelter, medicine, and dignity, without having to rely completely on others. From a spiritual perspective, money is not good or bad. In Zen and Buddhist teachings, it is neutral. It only gains power based on how we use it. When managed with awareness, money becomes a tool, supporting not just your material needs, but your spiritual and emotional freedom. When mismanaged, it becomes a source of fear, anxiety, and even shame. So how can we care for this pillar? Simplify your lifestyle. True contentment isn't found in having more, but in wanting less. The less we desire, the freer we feel. Prioritize long-term stability. Health insurance, savings, and small safety nets may not be exciting, but they create quiet security. Practice mindful generosity. Give without guilt. Share only what aligns with your values and current capacity. When financial independence becomes an extension of self-care, it protects not just your bank account, but your sense of self-worth. As life becomes quieter, another truth reveals itself. The people who matter most begin to stand out more clearly. This brings us to the pillar of meaningful relationships. With time, our social circles often shrink. Children become busy with their own lives. Casual friendships fade. And at first, this may feel lonely, but it's also a gift. It allows us to focus on depth over breadth. Relationships that once felt obligatory fall away, making room for the connections that truly nourish the soul. These are what Buddhism calls spiritual friendships, companions who walk beside you with shared values, mutual respect, and the quiet desire to grow together. To build and sustain these bonds, be intentional. Reach out to those whose presence calms your heart. Offer your full attention. Don't multitask when speaking. Listen deeply. Let go of toxic ties. It is kinder to walk alone than to carry a relationship that only depletes you. True friendships are like mirrors. They reflect your growth, your beliefs, your humanity. Finally, let's return to where it all began: the soul's yearning for meaning. We now arrive at the fifth pillar: lifelong learning and purpose. The golden years are not a time of decline, they are a time of rediscovery. A time to stretch your curiosity, to learn something new, to create, to give, and to remember who you are beyond titles and roles. Zen wisdom reminds us, purpose does not need to be grand. It only needs to be authentic. After rediscovering that purpose doesn't have to be grand or impressive, we begin to see it in the most ordinary parts of life. Often, it's not what we do, it's how we do it. The quiet attention we give, the care we share, the presence we bring. These are the real seeds of purpose. You don't need a stage, an audience, or a big achievement to feel fulfilled. Sometimes, tending a small garden, journaling your thoughts, or simply mentoring someone younger can breathe life into your days. Purpose is found in the intention, not the outcome. So how do we embrace this kind of lifelong learning and meaningful purpose? Explore new interests. Maybe there's a hobby you've always wanted to try: painting, playing music, learning a new language, or even bird watching. Why not now? Share your wisdom. Teach someone. Tell your story. Mentor a younger person who's walking a path you've already traveled. Passing on your lived experience is one of the most generous gifts you can offer. Stay curious. Approach life like a beginner again. Ask questions. Be open to new perspectives. Let your mind roam freely, unbound by the idea that it's too late. Purpose is the thread that quietly weaves meaning into every day. It turns an ordinary afternoon into a moment of joy. It transforms silence into reflection and solitude into creative space. And as you reflect on all 5 pillars, inner peace, health, financial independence, meaningful relationships, and purpose, a beautiful truth emerges. These aren't just tools for living well. They are the building blocks of your legacy. Each choice you make to live intentionally becomes a quiet inspiration for others, your children, your friends, your community. You show them that aging isn't about becoming less. It's about becoming clearer, lighter, more grounded. Life after 60 offers something rare: the chance to focus deeply on what truly matters. The chaos of earlier decades begins to fade. In its place, you find simplicity, clarity, and wisdom. And in this space, something profound happens. You begin not just to live, but to radiate. Zen wisdom reminds us, when you let go of what no longer serves you, you make space for what truly matters. Let go of the belief that your happiness depends on others. Let go of the idea that aging is a decline. Instead, build your life on these 5 pillars, and in doing so, discover a peace, a strength, and a purpose that no one can take from you. This, dear listener, is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a deeply meaningful, radiant chapter. May you walk this path with grace, knowing that your greatest support has always been within you. Thank you for being here. If this video spoke to your heart, please subscribe to Buddhism Seeds, hit the like button, and share it with someone who needs this message. We'd love to hear your thoughts. What pillar resonated most with you? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.